Hey guys, welcome back. If you are new to my channel, my name is Julie and I post videos on affordable drugstore makeup. I want to inspire you to love your makeup collection while also teaching you that drugstore makeup can look just as good as high-end, sometimes better. I miss the days of like 2016 to like 2018 super glam makeup. So I thought today we would go down memory lane and I would do a super glam makeup look. This is the makeup look that I am going to be creating today. I'm going to do lashes, the whole 9 yards, but I'm just curious in the comments. I know that maybe a lot of you guys don't really wear full glam most of the time now. I feel like that's not really the makeup style anymore. But do you guys like miss watching people create full glam looks? Like, I'm just curious. I know I kind of miss that. And honestly, I kind of miss wearing that type of makeup sometimes. I mean, I know that we're moving into summer. I'm using the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. That we're moving into summer, and that is kind of like the time that you're wanting to wear less makeup because it's so hot and humid outside that you just don't want a lot on your face. So I mean, normally for me, the time that I like to wear heavier makeup is in the fall and winter. But I was just inspired to do this today. If you wanted a extreme full coverage foundation, you guys know my favorite for that, and that is Revlon ColorStay. So I debated using this or this foundation today, but I have been absolutely loving this with the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. So I just figured I would use this today, but I'm going to apply it in a way that is a bit more full coverage. I would say that this foundation is a good just like medium coverage foundation, but you can build it up to full. So, and I'm just using my dampened Wet n Wild makeup sponge to blend this in. But I mean, I do miss the days of super glam makeup looks. And honestly, I totally forgot, but I probably should have done my eyeshadow before my foundation. What I might do is I might not set this foundation or do my concealer and put like shadow shields on and do my eyeshadow before finishing the rest of my makeup. That was always like something that I would do if I was doing like a really heavy full glam look, is I would always do my eyeshadow before my foundation. And I've gotten so used to putting my foundation on before anything else just because the looks that I typically do aren't super heavy or would have a lot of fallout. So, okay, I don't think I'm going to actually like apply the foundation too heavy yet because I might go in with a second layer here after I do the eyes. So I am going to use shadow shields today. So I'm going to be putting these down, and I will link down below where you can get these. You can get them in bulk off of Amazon. So these are a great tool to use when you are doing like using glitter or doing like a more full like glam type of look to keep, eyeshadow from falling on your face and like messing up your foundation. It's also like great because it helps you get more of like a clean edge to your eyeshadow, which is nice. And I totally forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but I am going to be using all drugstore makeup products today. So, and that Believe Beauty foundation is so good and is super affordable. I don't know if it's still $5.50, but at Dollar General, whenever I bought that foundation, it was around $5.50. So that is like the most affordable, just, medium coverage foundation that I have been able to find that I actually really like. And then for my eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the LA Girl Desert Glow Envy palette. I know that maybe some of you guys are getting sick of me using this, but I have been in love with this palette. I love it so much. A lot of you guys have also been telling me thank you for using like the same palette over and over. So yeah, we're just going to be using this today. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do like a super colorful look with this or not. I think I am going to do something slightly a little bit more colorful. So I'm gonna first go in with this shade right here, and I'm just gonna blend this in the crease with the Morphe M441 brush. But the mattes in this shade are so, so good, and I actually really enjoy the glitter toppers. I know that some people might not like those, but I really like the way those look, and I have discovered that if you use those wet with a makeup setting spray, I don't have any issues with fallout whenever I use it like that. So that is the key to using the glitter shades in this palette. For the brow bone color, I'm going to use this shade here, which I've been loving this for a brow bone highlight. It's so pigmented. I love the shade on this. And I don't feel like it wouldn't be like a 2016 makeup look. It's so funny because I feel like most people refer to these full glam looks as 2016 makeup looks, but I feel like my peak of doing these types of look was more 2017, 2018. So I don't know, maybe I was like late to the game by then. So first I'm going to use this shade over here. And I'm just packing that on with a flat shader brush. I actually have not used this shade yet in the palette. And then I'm just gonna stamp this out here. I might go in with the even darker brown, but I just wanna see how dark this shade is first. Then I'm gonna take a little bit more of that color on the Morphe M506. And I'm just going to work this here in the outer V. Just kind of taking it up like this way and blending it over this way, creating like a kind of like a triangle shape there to make like a cat eye. This is another reason why the shadow shields are so good, because you don't even have to worry about accidentally taking darker shades down too far. They just make things really foolproof. Okay, and I'm going back with that original blending brush, and I'm just going to blend the edge. And then at the very top of the crease here, like in between the brow bone shade and the crease color, I'm going to take some of this pink, the shade right here. And I'm just going to lightly blend that, just back and forth, right there, just like slightly warming that up and making it look like a little bit more pink. Don't know if you can really tell the difference between this side and this one. But I'm not using too much of this pink, just a little bit. And I'm going to take another flat shader brush. This came in an Amazon brush set. I will link it down below. And I'm just going to pack this pink shade on this brush. And then I'm going to put this color all over the eyelid and just kind of blend it over top of that darker shade. So I'm just going to build this color up on the lid to the intensity that I want. Every single matte shade in this palette has been so good, so pigmented. I mean, the only one that I kind of struggled with is the lime green when I used that on the lower lash line in the first, well, I guess it was the second tutorial that I used with this palette. But I used this shade again on its own on my eyelid, and I didn't have quite as much trouble getting it to show up as I did on the lower lash line. So I think, you know, putting this on the eyelid, it's much easier to build up and pack on than like using it on, you know, your lower lash line. I would recommend it if you enjoy colors like this. I just think it's such a fun palette. And I know that there's probably other palettes out there with this same kind of color story, but I felt like it was kind of unique. I like the fact that it's got some really pretty like bright pops of color, and you have a lot of really great options for just like a neutral everyday eye look. I'm gonna flip the brush over and I'm going to pack this purpley pink glitter topper on this brush here. Just kind of tap off a little bit of the excess. And then I'm going to take the LA Girl makeup setting spray. You could use whatever setting spray that you have. And then I'm just going to mist the brush. And then, whoops. And then I'm just going to take that color and pack it on top of that pink. And I did use this color by itself the other day, the eyeshadow topper, and it actually showed up pretty good on its own. I mean, it's definitely more like brighter or more intense with the color underneath, but it's like if you were wanting to do more of an everyday kind of look, it's just a nice subtle pop of color on its own. And I think that's what I really enjoy about these eyeshadow like toppers is they just create like a really pretty just like sheer glittery effect on their own that's great to wear day to day. But if you really want to take them up a notch, you can put them over top of the eyeshadow that kind of corresponds with the topper, like how this corresponds with that. Like that's why I just think that this palette is so versatile. And then I'm gonna take some of the the darkest brown in this palette. I'm gonna get it on the tip of the Morphe M506. And I'm just gonna lightly blend here in the outer V some more. I feel like I might have put that down just slightly a little bit too heavy. That's always like the risk I feel like you run with the glam looks, is there's a fine line between just enough and too much. I'm gonna take a bit more of the darkest brown and I'm just gonna stamp just a little bit there on the eyelid just to kind of tie it in a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna go back one more time with the crease shade and just blend everything one last time. Then I'm gonna remove the shadow shields. And like, as you can see, like it's created such a sharp, nice edge that I feel like really helps a glam look just look extra polished. I think that's what really helps a glam look more polished is if you do the eyeshadow before your foundation so you can really get things cleaned underneath the eye. I'm gonna add just a little bit more foundation since I didn't really get this built up to the intensity that I wanted. Since I forgot to do the eyes first, I'm just gonna blend that. For my concealer, I'm using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And I will have all of my shades listed down below, like all the products that I'm using today will be listed down below. But this is in the color Light Sand. I'm just tapping that in. And I'll kind of show you guys my trick here in a minute to add more concealer to kind of give it that more full glam look without adding a ton of concealer to the under eye area. Just kind of like my little trick that I do. I'll take more of the concealer and I'll just kind of put it in a shape like this. So it kind of mimics that really like bright under eye without putting it like right on your under eye area, which would just add more product and maybe like highlight any fine lines that you have if you were to put it right up underneath the eye. I find if you put it kind of on your cheekbone and bring it up, it gives you that same lifted effect. I don't know if you can really tell a difference between this side and this side. I can looking in the mirror, but I'm not for sure how it looks in the viewfinder. But I find that it helps to like lift the face a little bit without like highlighting things that you don't want to highlight. So And then I'm going to take whatever's left on the sponge and put it right here on my nose to kind of add a little bit more coverage and lighten that area up. For setting powder, I'm going to first go in with the Maybelline Super Stay. This is the shade in 102. And I'm going to use just this really lightly to set the under eye area. Just get a little bit on there, and I'm just going to lightly like press that in here, kind of in the same sort of motion that I used with blending out the concealer. So just lightly tapping that in. And then I'm going to take just a little bit more of this powder, kind of pat it down the center of my face. And then I'm going to take a slightly darker setting powder. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in Golden Beige. I have been laying out a little bit, trying to get a base tan before I go on my vacation trips. So I feel like I've gotten quite a bit more tan, and so I've had to change up kind of like the color of like the powders and things that I'm using. But I mean, I could probably just still use that Maybelline powder all over, but I've been trying to just experiment with this L'Oreal powder a little bit more because like I only have it in this shade, and most of the time the shade is a bit too dark for me. I think I had originally bought this to maybe kind of use as like a bronzer shade, but it was never quite dark enough for a bronzer, but then it was slightly too dark for an actual setting powder, so but yeah, you could just use the one powder, but I do really like both of these setting powders. Like, in using this L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, I want to go and like get this in a lighter shade that would match me when I don't have as much of a tan. The bronzer, the powder, and the blush, most of them are $20. Is that right? I feel like the last time I was at Walgreens and was looking at the Fresh Wear Infallible blushes from L'Oreal, they were like $20, and I just feel like that's insane for drugstore pricing. But it's not 2016 pricing anymore, that's for sure. So for my bronzer, I'm going to be using the Makeup Revolution. This is the makeup bronzer in One Cool, and I've really been enjoying this bronzer so much. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but I've been using it so much, like the R is starting to blend away. So it's definitely a big favorite right now, and I probably just applied too much of it, so we'll blend that out. And I'm using another brush from that Amazon brush set. So it's just like the large powder brush in the set. It comes in the same set as that shader brush I was using to do the eyeshadow. So I'm just blending that out. But I love the tone of this bronzer. It is a pretty dark bronzer for being the lightest shade. I probably should clip my hair back. That would probably make more sense instead of me just like getting it all over the place. Let's do that real quick. Just clip it. That's probably much better. I mean, for myself, when it comes to like the bronzer blush highlight situation, I don't necessarily feel like my style has really changed too much with all that than how I used to do those steps back in 2016. It's like I might have contoured slightly more then. So I guess like putting a little bit more bronzer down kind of gives that contoured effect. So let's just go a little bit more heavy so we can kind of contour like 2016. But I'm definitely getting 2016 contourish vibes. All right, and then I'm gonna take a little bit more of this bronzer on the jawline and down on the neck. It never fails. Whenever I go to blend the bronzer out, my earring always turns around backwards. I'm just applying my Vaseline Rosy Lips to moisturize. And I feel like I'm doing my makeup in such a bizarre order today. But I just wanted to do the bronzer before my eyebrows because I kind of thought I might mess my brows up doing all the bronzing. So I'm actually going to use a brow powder because I know that like brows were slightly a little bit more intense and almost like more gradient in 2016. So that's what I'm going to do for my eyebrows. So I'm just using this L'Oreal Prep and Shape Pro Kits Brow Stylist. And I'm pretty sure this product was discontinued, but any type of brow powder would work if you are wanting to recreate this look. I mean, honestly, like I still love this kind of brow look and style, so like I don't always fill in my eyebrows super heavy, but sometimes I kind of like the look. Then I'm going to go with a bigger spoolie, just kind of brush that through. Okay, and then to set the brows in place, I'm using the e.l.f. Wow Brow in brunettes. And I'm going to kind of fluff up the front of the brow more than the tail. I don't really think in 2016 we were really fluffing our brows too much, but I just really have been enjoying kind of doing my brows more like this, like where I kind of fluff the front like this, but then for the tail I kind of just follow how my brow hairs naturally lay. And now we're going to move on to blush, and I'm going to use the Essence Peachy Blossom palette. This is another thing that I have picked up recently that I have just really been loving and highly recommend. I mean, I love all the blushes that I picked up, but like if I was going to recommend a new blush like palette or product for summertime for you guys, this would be the palette to get. It was super affordable and you get 3 different blushes, and I love all 3 blushes in this palette. Like I kind of want to use the orange one just because I haven't used it yet, but I know this pink is probably going to look the best with this look, so let's just do the pink one. But I'm just applying that kind of to the apple of my cheeks and then just pulling it back. But all of the blushes are really pigmented in this palette, and I love both of the highlights as well. I'm going to use that pink highlight for my highlight today. And I know that in 2016, in that time frame, we were really using super intense highlighters, but I'm just going to use this one. I mean, I do find that you can build it up and it gets pretty intense. Maybe not as intense as like 2016 highlights, but this is a modern spin on 2016. So I'm just going to take that lightest pink shade and I'm just going to... I find that this color here gives me prismatic amethyst vibes from Becca. Do you guys remember that highlight? And then I'm going to take just a little bit more, put this here on my Cupid's bow, put a little bit here on my nose. I'm going to go in, I think first with this shade here. And I'm going to blend that here on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of that dark brown and just also blend that out here. Then for the inner corner of my eye, I'm going to grab the shade and just put this here. Before I do my eyeliner and put my false lashes, mascara, that whole thing on, I'm going to go ahead and mist my face with my makeup setting spray, and I'm just using this LA Girl makeup setting spray. Okay, for my eyeliner, I'm going to use dark brown, I think, or should I do black? I feel like black is more 2016. I'm just using the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Pen in Ultra Black. I have not used this in such a long time. And then I'm going to do a wing out here. It's like I haven't done winged eyeliner for so long. I'm like, or at least with black, I'm like, are my wings even? I think so. And I'm trying to remember, I think I would put mascara on before I would do my false lashes and then kind of touch it up a little bit more. Man, it's been a hot minute since I have done this. So I'm just going to do the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of mascara first. And then I'll probably add more mascara once I get the lashes on. So these are the only lashes that I could round up. But these are the Believe Beauty Fantasy Finish False Lashes. And I don't know if it has the style of this on here. Oh, I guess maybe the style is Fantasize. I think that's how they did these. So I cut them in half, and now I just want to figure out which half I want to use. If I want to use this half or the other half. For the lash glue, I like to use this Duo lash adhesive that you paint on, and this is the black color. I'm going to kind of show you how to do this. I stood up so it would stop focusing on my face. But you just paint it like across the band there. And I'm like, hopefully this glue still works because I have not used it in forever. Let that dry for a couple of minutes and then I'm going to stick it down. Just going to sit it right there on the eye. And then with my tweezers, I'm going to stick it there. And then push it down here. And then I'm just going to apply a little bit more mascara to blend everything. And I'm going to kind of focus the mascara more on the front part of my lashes, like where I don't have the false lashes and it's just my natural, to blend it better. So for the lips, I know in 2016 we were probably wearing liquid lipstick, but I'm going to do a little bit more of a modern take on the lips. I'm going to line my lips with the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner, and this is in the color Spice. So I'm just going to line. And then I'm going to fill them in with this CoverGirl Clean Fresh Tinted Lip Balm. And this is in the color Life is Pink. And I actually found this tinted lip balm to be pretty pigmented for just being like a lip balm. You'll have to let me know in the comments if you enjoy looks like this still. Like, would you still wear this? I totally would. I know that maybe for some this is a dated type of look to wear, but I just love a good glam look. Just a nice, just good glam. And I'll just get up closer so you guys can see like what the face looks like all done. The eyes, Hopefully the lashes turned out okay. But I just love it so much. I can just appreciate just a nice full glam look. So if you guys enjoyed this, or if you would like to see other kind of like where I challenge myself to do full glam looks like 2016, let me know down in the comments. Thumbs up this video, give it a like if you liked it. And thank you guys so much for watching to the end. I love you all so much. Thank you for your support, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. Mwah.
You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art.